The name on the marquee is wrestling. When all is said and done, it's always come down to what gets done inside the squared circle. Now more than ever, there is a lot more of the industry. Of course, but at its very heart, professional wrestling is still about the presentation of simulated physical combat. When all the talking and ballyhoo is done, after the pyro smoke clears and the music dies down, pro wrestlers are expected to deliver in the ring with thrilling action. And like any other field of endeavor, there are always those that have been better at it than others. Rising above the pack as the individual who could be counted on to deliver a compelling performance time and again. Over the years, wrestling fans have been witness to some incredible feats of athleticism and matches that have stood the test of time as either the most historic, the most mind-blowing, or a little bit of both. What continues a great wrestling match has certainly changed dramatically, obviously, as prior to about 1925, most pro wrestling matches looked more like amateur wrestling contests. But even since pro wrestling evolved into pure performance, the styles have changed drastically, as you would discover by comparing a match from, say, the 1930s to a match from the 1950s, or a match from the 1960s to a match from the 1980s. Wow. Or a match from the 1990s to a match from present day. The criteria are in constant flux, which makes it difficult and, rather ambiguous to say, to even determine any so-called greatest of all time whenever we have this debate. When putting together a list of this kind, the very best that maybe have defined the business, our industry, I can say that as someone who was a talent, a performer, who had a journey in ring, who took the fucking bumps. I'm just saying. A lot of you can't say that, you haven't experienced it. Doesn't mean I'm any better, just a little more informed on certain things, especially the physicality. So again, to try to put together a list like this, it's also worth noting that certain matches are included on the basis of their actual quality as entertainment, while others may earn a spot due mainly to their importance, their impact. Furthermore, due to the unfortunate lack of film preservation, especially of the vast majority of the past, a majority of the embryonic pro wrestling matches, that's right, I said embryonic. Certain of these legendary bouts can't be seen by fans today. But those are included on the basis of their reputation, I guess, is a good word. Their significance to wrestling history. Let's delve into 20, 25, or 30 of the matches that have had the most impact, define the business, as I said previously. You be the judge. It's all subjective to your era of when you grew up, what you've researched, what you've seen. Research is the key. Watching the product is the key. Remember that. So we're going to go through this list. Hopefully we'll have time. This might be a two-parter. Go back and check out the opening monologue, 20 minutes. It was a banger, as the kids say. So we might do this in two parts, so don't go anywhere. We got a lot of content on this channel. Almost 140 videos last week alone. And what's today? Thursday? Heading into the weekend. probably 30 or 40 videos, 50 videos this week as well. One man, unique, unedited, unscripted, raw dog for you, the fans. Nobody works harder for you than I do. The Great Gama versus Stanislaus Zybszko. Take out your notebook. School is in session. September 10th, 1910, White City Stadium, London, England. In a time when many pro wrestling matches were still legitimate contests, there were few, if any, who were up to the challenge of one Ghulam Hussain of India, known as the Great Gama. After years of facing all-comers in the East and emerging victorious in over 200 bouts without a loss, Gama turned to his formidable attentions to the West, traveling to Europe to challenge the likes of George Hackenschmidt and world heavyweight champion Frank Gotch. But nearly all the top athletes of the day refused to face Gama, presumably because he sought true competition and opposed to the stage works they were mainly used to. Talk about a shoe. This is where it originates and comes from. Okay, when it was real and getting stretched. Professional wrestling, as I rumble and stumble, is not wrestling. It's not like amateur wrestling. It has nothing to do with wrestling, although many have the amateur and Olympic and Greco-Roman style. You guys know that. It's sports entertainment, a physical opera, the illusion of physicality and violence. Although with some of these programs and companies today, you'd never know it, waiting for someone to die into the ring. But that's another story for another time. Eventually, Gama's challenge was accepted by the mighty Polish shooter Stanislaus Zybszko, who battled the fearsome Indian before a rumored 100,000 spectators. Now, this is 1910. Let that sink in. The number's never been officially confirmed, though, obviously, just like in pro wrestling in general. And a match sponsored by the popular John Bull magazine, which had also put up a valuable championship belt for the occasion. True to his reputation, Gama punished Zybszko something awful. Wow. Forcing him to the mat and keeping him there for most of 2 hours and 45 minutes. They struggled with each other. It's said that Zybszko knew early on that Gama's strength was insurmountable and clung to the mat to avoid a fall. Finally, with night approaching, the referee called a halt to the contest. It was declared that the two men would resume their match the following week. But a daunted Zybszko thought better of it and never showed, causing John Bull magazine to award their belt to Gama the Great, who returned to India undefeated, adding the accolade to his extensive trophy collection. The Great Gama versus Stanislaus Zybszko, September 10th, 1910, White City Stadium, London, England. We're going to go match by match. Come on back.